Now, it's day 2 of the Arise Ghana demonstration. Protesters are converging at the El-Wak Stadium for today's march and protest over harsh economic conditions. Let's take you live to my colleague Manuel.
As it's been agreed by the police, we will start from El-Wak, go through in front of Staff House, we will go straight to Minister of Finance, then go to Parliament to see the Speaker of Parliament and present our petition, and that is all is happening today.
Many thanks indeed, Bacham, for he's one of the leading members of the Arise Ghana group, just speaking to us about the arrangements today. Just across to my right, you see heavy police deployments, and we are seeing a lot of them line up, in anticipation of the beginning of the protest this morning. And that's what we are going to be following to bring you details as we move on. So this is just what's happening. We'll just come to you just in a short while to give you a bit of updates. But now we have confirmation from the demonstrators, the organizers, that indeed is going to happen. Well, I see on my far right an attempt by the police hierarchy, to speak to the leaders of the demonstration. I see Joshua Amido Akamba, who is organizer for the Opposition National Democratic Congress, in the company of one of the senior officers who, of course, we had an earlier indication that there was going to be a bit of a conversation between the police and the demonstrators to find out what was going to happen today.
Oh, I have to have a private time with him. Okay, I beg you. Tell them I want to have some discussion. Akamba, yes. Tell them I want to have some discussion. Commander, no. Okay. Oh, Akamba is my friend. We are begging. We are also begging. My brother. This is our commander-in-chief of NDC and forces. What is it about? We are begging. Some issue, the two of us.
Okay. Well, so the police is requesting to have a private chat with him. Sir, just briefly talk to us about the arrangement for today's exercise.
Oh, everything's in place. Everything's in place. Everything's in place. Everything is in place, normal.
When you say everything is in place, that's something we heard yesterday, and it turned chaotic. In place.
No, the PR people will come and brief you. The PR people will come and brief you.
because of the, I think we can stop that for now.
Yes.
Yeah, we can stop this discussion. I can have it later.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
I wanted to ask you a question, but your people are here.
Yeah, so we can do that later.
Yeah,
I
later.
just showed you a picture.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And so we want him you to go to arrest him because you are threatening to arrest us. So that one who threw the stone at us, he started the game. Yeah, he started that game.
We see to that one.
Yes.
Don't worry, come back.
Because, you know, I kept mentioning this morning that I thought that police were professional.
You have just shown me too.
Yes. But police were throwing stones. I mean, so where did it start? I was not wearing what they were wearing. So if any stone was... How do you believe that it is this my people that were throwing the stones? But they are here. Nobody carries stones. So where did the stones come from?
So we just heard you say that you see to that. Is that an admission of wrongdoing on the side of the police?
Don't worry, the people will come and talk. Don't worry. Don't worry, they will come and talk. I come back, we'll talk later.
Okay.
We'll talk later.
Also, the intended meeting between the organizers of the demonstration and then the police is just being botched right before our very eyes. What we've seen when we heard the police officer just say that we'll see to that, and that was in reaction to a complaint by Joshua Amidu Akamba, who is organizer for the opposition National Democratic Congress, relating to a picture that he claimed to have seen with a police officer in a riot control vehicle, seeming to be pelting stones at the demonstrators. And that's what just happened. His words, we'll see to that. I asked him a question if that was an admission of wrongdoing on the side of the police. Well, he didn't answer and says that PR folks will come and then deal with that. And so that's what we just have. We just get a bit closer and then, we see Joshua Akamba, doing a bit of explanation, some more explanation to the issues that he had raised just now.
And I have really want to arrest them. So I suspect that this is the game. That they will just take me to the back, but hey, I'm not. They can't take me here. No, even me, I'll resist it. I'll resist that oppressor now. You can't. You can come and arrest me later on. You can invite me later on. But when I'm in the line of my duty, no, you won't.
Okay, so what's the plan for today?
The plan. You see the plan.
No, just let us know because we've been here for a minute. We've not seen any, of your leaders here who are supposed to direct.
He's a leader. I'm a leader. A couple of leaders are here. Okay. This young man you see around are leaders.
Okay.
In our party, the owners of the party, or the owners of Ghana, these are them. Me and you, we cannot afford to buy fuel. We cannot afford to take care of our families. We cannot buy kenke. And so who is a leader here? Nobody is a leader. So we are all leaders.
So from here, where is the demonstration headed?
I'm sure a lot of funny things will happen. Yeah, you see, what I'm saying is that one thing we seek to do was to go to the presidency. That was the agreement between us and the police. So if the police decide otherwise, and I said that I keep getting, the IGP himself was not there, but his commissioners were all seated in the meeting. I was there. And then one of the questions that were asked me was that, so what is happening? Are you going to do it? We said, we are doing a demonstration. We'll pick it at the presidency till the next day. And they said, that will be too much. And then we went and came back and said, okay, we'll do it. We'll start from 3 o'clock till 10 o'clock. What happened? Then the day before the demonstration, you go to court. They acted in bad faith.
Okay. So Parliament House Ministries, that's the idea for today.
We want to see. We are doing some consultation.
Okay.
And after that, I'm sure you'll be there throughout with us today. And I want to plead with you. Most of you have your video, your footage. Please, we will need your footage to help us, even if we have to pay for it. We will need the footage because we will make cases against the police. We will. While they are making cases against us, we will also make cases. We'll press charges against them. And they can be sure to that.
And the same police who you are accusing of bad faith?
Exactly. So that's why we are pressing charges. If you accuse of somebody who is in bad faith, what do? There are avenues that we can take them to. Don't you know that? Okay. So we will do that. Okay. Yes. So tell them that, listen, we are not afraid of their intimidation. Nkrumah came out of jail and became president. They can do their last, but believe me, you will rescue this country, and it is to their own benefit. Thank you.
That's Joshua Kamba. He's the organizer for the Opposition National Democratic Congress, just speaking to us here. And his point, and quite instructively, is that the demonstrators are going to resist any attempt for the, is going to resist any attempt by the police officers to arrest the leadership of the Arise Ghana group. He says that, well, if they are invited after the demonstration, they would oblige. But while in the middle of the demonstration, they are not going to subject themselves to any, invitation by the police or arrest process.
So that's latest from the El-Wak Sports Stadium. We are still there. No matter what happens, we'll bring that one to you here on the Joy News channel. So stay with us for minute by minute coverage of that demonstration there. But relatedly, the Ghana Police Service has served notice it will arrest and prosecute organizers of Tuesday's Arise Ghana demonstration. As it says, 29 protesters have been arrested for taking part in attacks on police and civilians. Earlier, at a press conference, leaders of the pressure group Arise Ghana vowed to continue with their planned Chrome ISG protest today after the first day was marred by chaotic scenes and police tear gas. Details of the police statement coming to you, but shortly, let's bring you Machola Gbabe's report on the first day of the protest.
Let us all unite to uphold them and make her great and strong. We are all equal.
Voices of defiance against what they describe as oppression and tyranny. Some hours before a press conference at the Ghana International Press Center, police dispersed the protesters with water cannons and tear gas. I was in the middle of a live report. I had to run to safety with the crew. 2 people collapsed in front of me.
Oh, sorry, okay, so another tear gas. Let's go. Let's go. Run. Go.
We rushed to a nearby house where we got some water to wash our face. These passers-by at Circle were also affected.
You can see all of these people, they were not part of the protesters. Many of them had to run here to pour water on your faces. Tell me, where exactly were you before they fired the tear gas?
I had a problem with my Ghana card, and I had to go to GRA to work on it. So me, as a matter of fact, I'm not part of the protesters, but you see what I'm going through. I just don't know. I came with a friend and I can't see him. I had a friend with me and I don't know where his whereabouts. See, this is very bad.
So just like him, we had to run here to seek cover and to pour water on our faces because it was getting terrible at a point. So you can see, what's your name?
Kelvin, I'm Kelvin.
Kelvin.
I was just at the traffic lights coming. I was going to take a Madina car and I was going to take my phone. So I was just heading. I saw people running. Then all of a sudden, my eyes was just started burning. This is my first time experiencing this. And I'm so scared.
Were you part of the protesters?
No, please.
This is a marketplace. And the activity that is going on there, it's not everybody that is in it. So for them to have thrown tear gas into public, in the marketplace like this, so burning, some serious burning sensation in the nose, in the eyes, and all over the face, I don't think it's the best. And people with asthma problem, with different, there was a lady fainted. We had to resuscitate her. A lady fainted here. I mean, she could have just died. And I'm not even sure that lady was part of, this demonstration. In fact, to have thrown tear gas in public like this, it's just not the best. members.
Police in a statement said it had to use water cannons and tear gas to disperse the protesters after they pelted them with stones and bent ties in the middle of the road. The police service said 12 of its men were injured in the process. At a press conference later in the evening, National Communications Officer of the NDC and a member of Arise Ghana, Sami Jimfi, said the police crowd control measures deployed were orchestrated.
See, the whole thing was choreographed. Immediately they started pushing them, and the guys were going back. They started firing tear gas. And then immediately we saw people throwing stones. And these people were not Arise Ghana demonstrators. These were agents provocateurs planted in our midst by the police. That is what they did. And that is why even before that incident happened, if you listen to my speech, when I first addressed the demonstrators, I said that we have information that there are policemen in Arise Ghana t-shirt among us, and they've been sent to cause trouble. I said it before it happened. And we arrest people throwing stones at you. We give them to you to arrest and detain, and you protect them and shield them from arrest. I mean, where in the world have you seen something like this happen? When they're to protest against high cost of fuel, is that a crime? No. When they're to protest against the obnoxious e-levy, which to us amounts to thievery, which is leading to job losses, collapsing the momo industry, and imposing untold hardships on Ghanaians. When they're to protest against the infamous Ejaboni deal, in which this government is seeking to appropriate the mineral royalties of this country for themselves in perpetuity. We went there to protest against corruption.
Another member of the group, Bernard Mona, says the group is unwavering in its demand for better management of the country and will go ahead with day 2 of the protest.
Recent and current colonialist of our time is President Akufo-Addo. He chooses the date 28th to unleash brutality on the people of Ghana. What else can we do as innocent citizens? We should stop because Akufo-Addo has brutalized us? No. El-Wak Sports Stadium at 9 o'clock. We move to the Russian embassy, come out of the Christ the King traffic light, take the Liberation Road, come and terminate at the Parliament House, in front of the Parliament House.
And that's the agreement you went into?
That is what we have agreed. We initially had said that tomorrow we'll go to the Ministry of Finance, which is the capital city of corruption. And that is the fact that we are seeking economic liberation. We should go to the Ministry of Finance. The police say they will not allow that. As for meeting our people representative in the frontage of Parliament, we will go.
Now, let's still stay with this demonstration because security analyst Dr. Adam Bona is blaming leaders of the Arise Ghana demonstration for the chaos and injuries recorded during yesterday's protest. According to Mr. Bona, the incident would have been avoided if the organizers heeded the advice of the police and organized the members accordingly. He spoke on the AM show.
Once they had gone for a stay of execution, that would not automatically set aside what the court had ruled for them to have done. And so in one breath, I had heard some lawyers who were probably part of the demonstrators actually saying that once they had gone for a stay of execution, that meant that they could, go to stick to their original, route for riot. And I thought someone would have to let them know that once they do that, there was going to be confusion. And so what we saw yesterday was just anarchy, chaotic, and the throwing of stones, burning of tires. It moved from a position of crowd control to a position of riot control. And the moment you get to riot control, you can read literature, review other videos from all over the world. The moment it goes into the realm of riot control instead of crowd control, then these things we saw yesterday are bound to happen. But fortunately, we didn't have any serious injuries. We didn't have any fatalities, which I thought is good. But mine is that, Ben, the reason why the people went out there yesterday to demonstrate, I would have wished that is what we would have been discussing since yesterday to today. this discussion is not concentrating on the hardship we are faced with. It's not talking about the fuel. It's not talking about the high cost of living in the country. And so we are
Which
sitting
are
on
the
a
fair
time
points, the very background, the very basis for the demonstration.
And the reason why I am slotting that in is because we are sitting on a time bomb. We are sitting on a gunpowder that is just waiting for someone to light it. Because then the idea of the demonstration is to highlight the challenges all of us, everybody in this country. You go to the petrol pump, you go to the market, you know, cost of living is gone up, skyrocketed. This discussion we are having is not talking about what can we do, what can the executive, the president, who Ghanaians voted for, who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, who, you know, can do some magic to probably bring hope to the country. What can he do? Once that discussion is not going on, believe you me, I don't want to be a prophet of doom, but what I foresee is that we are going to have series of demonstrations, series of picketing, because this would have been a fine opportunity to get the leaders to listen. But unfortunately, it's been a discussion between the demonstration, we are discussing the demonstrators and the police. Meanwhile, these two groups have nothing to do with how this country is run. This discussion is not going to reduce the fuel, would not bring down prices, and it can only probably widen the gap. So mine is that, Ben, whilst we are talking about what happened and what went wrong yesterday, I would advise the leaders of the demonstrators to stick to the original plan of highlighting the challenges we are all faced with, whether you belong to A, you belong to P, you don't belong anywhere, we are all in this together. So they should probably listen to the police, and so that by the end of today, Ben, we will be discussing why they went on the demonstration. At the moment, since yesterday, I have been so tired talking to the media, talking to the police, talking to the demonstrators. I'm so tired, but we haven't really spoken about why they went on the street.
Right.
And so anyone who had an injury yesterday, anyone who was injured, whether it be the person, a police officer or a demonstrator, I'll tell you that probably might have gotten injury for nothing. So let's discuss, whilst we are discussing what happened yesterday, let's also discuss the challenges we are faced with in the country, or else.
So that's Dr. Adam Bona speaking on the AM show. Let's still stay with this demonstration. As I told you earlier, today is the day 2 of that demonstration, and Manuel Kranting is at the El-Wak sports complex where the day 2 is starting from. Manuel is back with us with details. Let's cross over to the El-Wak sports complex for more. Manuel, let's have the details from there. Manuel, if you can hear me, what is happening at where you are now currently? What's the latest?
Well, so Kojo, currently what's happening is just the swelling up of the numbers of the demonstrators who we earlier met this morning. At the time that we got here, just a few minutes past 8 a.m., we saw that the numbers were just few, with a lot more police officers. But in just the past 30 minutes or so, we have seen more and more of the protesters actually join in and, you know, arrive here at the El-Wak Sports Stadium. A confirmation also of, you know, a heavy police deployment right here to my left. A lot of them just, you know, waiting for the protest to start so that they can provide, of course, protection for them. And in just the past couple of minutes also, we saw a meeting which was being called by one of the leaders of the police contingent on the ground. Actually, just got botched. It was supposed to be between the police and then the leaders of the demonstration. We saw Joshua Hamidu Akamba, who is the organizer for the National Democratic Congress, the national organizer. He was invited and actually right on camera declined the invitation. Says that they could do that you know, talk quite later. And so right before our eyes, we saw that meeting also cancelled. We'll just try and speak to a few of the demonstrators, because these are people who are you know, defying they are defying the odds really with all the chaos that we saw yesterday. They are defying the odds to actually still come and protest on the second day of the demonstration. This gentleman spoke to me yesterday and said a lot of prayers and so on and so forth. You spoke to me yesterday. It turned chaotic yesterday, and you are back today to continue protesting.
Papa, media taxi na michi. Media Bema. Mena be drivers for change more kufuado. Until say na do better fu no so amaye no. Ye gina ne kon so sa. Ono na futu no di 2 year no. And ye gina so oka say mabunu wo krom no mu nya adwuma anya omo sore. E de Arab Spring ye mfanto ho. Ye ni adwuma ye. Eni nti ane ye si monten no. Na e de say dan pare ankasa hu se posifo nso. Omo fridge kura nko omo dem na wapia posifo bebreze omo demonstration ni bi. Ene de no omo demonstration ni bi. Omo so be ka omo hawo. Eti ye se Ghana ni ba bia say Arise Ghana eba so be solve o mani problem. No madwi omo say ye ne na agya ye omo boa. Ye mu bi ye wu nne na Ghana nya fa hodi a ye pe. Eti na nado onsi form no metie na damfo ya bema asem. Enye say no ka kire ye o. Ye ni mu dase be kum na ntwi anajo a ye nya tofo. Enki yankunu na wasuma posifo posi kurabo to postcard mumu sa dan pare se dia na egum. Enti ene wose yo momra no me demonstration na ye jomo wa tu ye no mo be gina ye bompa se awrade ntonsuo nguso ne ye no mo nyina nsuo num ye wie na ye wie ye o enti se frofro gu ho e de ma na na do dan kwa Akufuado ye bobo economic management team din no pa chaw na ya be ma me din ka ho na wo din ka ho na a taxi driver bi anim bi enti dollar cedi rate nya adwuma poor driver me de ye dey me kwaka ma asem say o man na wo kire abam ni gina ye driver for so because of transportation fuel bo baby akọ gina no na man tosi bo akọ so me ya akomadani entosi bo anya den wa akomadan enso enne hwe ye yi ntosi ba akọ de show nsem 2 cedi e pa cha COVID-19 echi ntosi Putin watu bombo watu temato ho Lotto kiosks kwa na do akọ painting we say one district one factory ni wa wanka mabuna tesi montene ya de ebekọ so apagana fo ache obiem ene enkoto dwesen agu form ya ye Ghana for bone na do nya man panyini papa na ye nim ene e company ma no Ghana for ye pamache wo bonka ya asem bi maye o ene Akufuado si won sim free wiem no watie ya asem o bone be de ya Akufuado hwe mabunu e wo Ghana ha ene yadida abontin to say spare time ugo kana na do dan kwa Akufuado say but wiem on si from no atie ya asem enti se na adwi ye ne say ye beja kasa na wo boa ye ne Akufuado o man no be funu baako
demonstration e mo betumi aye o na tie ahihie ne de keka ho no say no de nka demonstration wana
enti de ya to abona wo wu any tie ya hye no why na say niema obi wa adwuma ya me pa cha obekwa akogina bontin se wo hyetai obi wa adwuma ya obehyetai ani bre na aba ma mema tie si krom papa wan obi a wo kan sika wajai ekodan kada me ye adwuma a obe frem se enko demonstration ameba me ni adwuma ye eni ntina mete ha aden na do ye yesa aden ana boni ayaye o ne se wo ye panyini ni ato aba ma o afa ne ye ati Nyankopon ase akokora mponi no ye ese yo enti nkana na do ya brantie pa nkade no be Ghana for pamache o ye mu bi ye nu ye ho say ye campaign man na do ne ko fro trotro num kalipo na wonum kalipo na ye Ghana for say ya utwa ba akuni bi nkade na be eno na muriem na oji wani una muriem na oji wani boso wa ye kwan 10,000 kilometers ya gani na na do ye hu e kwan ni nasoro si form na be kire ye ene nsuo to a adrawa foi ka te nsuo ni se no wa shan Akufuado aye Israel ene ye ka te nsuo ni se no wa shan bani be ne ye de aye o ene demonstration ye ko one demonstrator 10 policemen, one demonstrator, 10 policemen. And the car will power policy for you. Would it be a Juma and Canada Domrantia? Yabesia Bontiam Wababuye. Obabuye, Ochina Babuye, yeah, until sir, Obaya dear Fata.
So he's been telling me in English that they are fed up with the situation in the country and they will continue to protest. I put a question about the chaos that we saw yesterday with the burning of tires and all of that, and his counter was that, I mean, between the burning of car tires and then firing of tear gas and what he calls live ammunition into the crowd, which one is more destructive to human lives and then also to property? That is a concern that we've just heard from here. Open any worry if you. Where are you from?
Ashaiman.
Okay, you're from Ashaiman. Why are you joining the demonstration?
We are joining the demonstration because of we need.
So those are live footages from the El-Wak Sports Stadium where the day 2 of the demonstration by the Arise Ghana is starting. We are still there to bring you the latest as and when in our subsequent bulletins. But let me take you through the statement by the police which is warning that leaders of the Arise Ghana will be arrested and prosecuted. The statement says the police have arrested 29 demonstrators for their participation in violent attacks on the police and some members of the public, including school children, during the Arise Ghana demonstration in Accra Tuesday. Available video footages of the event are being reviewed, and all other persons identified for taking part in the attacks as well as inciting the violence will be arrested and brought to face justice. Also, the organizers of the demonstration will be arrested and put before court for the attacks and damage to public property in line with the provisions of Sections 3 of the Public Order Act, Act 491. We would like to assure the public that we remain committed and professionally measured in the discharge of our constitutional mandate of enforcing law and order in the country. That's a bit of the statement released by the Ghana Police Service. Now, relatedly, the families of victims of Ejura killings say the Ghana Police Service has stopped them from holding an intended one-year anniversary to be held in memory of their relatives who lost their lives during the riot. A statement released by the family said they are unable to go ahead with Islamic prayers and Quran recitals that were planned to mark the event because they had been served with an ex parte injunction obtained by the Ghana Police Service. They say they are shocked to find that the court are now being used to prevent them from mourning their dead relatives and performing necessary customary and religious rites to observe the killing by the military. End of quote. Now, Inus Abba is one of the spokespersons of the bereaved families and joins us through Zoom for more. Thank you very much, sir, for agreeing to speak to us. Now, what do you think might have informed the police action against your plans?
Thank you very much, and thank you for greetings to your viewers. Yes, in fact, I can't tell. I don't know what the reason why the police did that. In fact, I can't say. I don't know.
But haven't you had any reason from the police as to why they would do anything to stop the intended plan you had to remember your deceased?
Well, let me say this. A brother of mine, upon seeing the ex parte injunction that sought to deny us from commemorating our loved ones, he described it as a laughable piece of authoritarianism in a land of democratic constitutionalism. This is quackery, a mockery of democracy and the rule of law. This is pungent smell of injustice by an organ of justice. It's so sad. It's so sad. What happened? We, in our view, all these things were having some sort of political machination. That's what we should think, because You know, let me just give you a background of the whole thing. We are all aware of what happened, so we are not going back to tell you how come, and then Kaka lost his life, eventually the two others that lost their life. So they were all buried on 29th. Then in our Islamic setting and even Ghanaian culture, most of the time, we do celebrate 7 days, that's 1 week, 40 days, and then 1 year. So we came up with this for the past 2 months. We planned it together with our lawyer, and then myself, and then the other rest of the victims.
Well, so now the police say they won't allow you to do it. What do you intend to do?
Well, for now, they said they won't allow us to do. Is it the police? The police cannot stop us from doing it.
I mean, they went to court and the court agreed with them that
exactly.
you
so
can't
the
go
court
ahead
agreed with them. And we are law-abiding citizens. So we are going to go by what the court said.
Okay.
But saying that, we, in our small way, in our houses, nobody can prevent us from doing. But we will not do it as we plan to do. So we'll do it in our houses.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. That's one a spokesperson for one of the families who were bereaved in Ejura. Now, scores of people have been displaced in Walewale in the northeast region following the destruction of their buildings and other properties in a demolition exercise by the Municipal Assembly. According to the Assembly, the demolition exercise is to pave the way for the start of the second phase of the Walewale Township Road project. Some of the affected property owners who now live with family relatives told JoyNews that the Assembly failed to give them adequate notice and a dialogue opportunity for possible compensation before carrying out the exercise. The Assembly has, however, denied the allegation, insisting that only illegal structures were cleared. Correspondent Elias Utanko has more.
Since the beginning of last month, the West Mamprose Municipal Assembly has been carrying out a mass demolition exercise in the municipal capital, Walewale. The exercise, according to the Assembly authorities, is to clear the way for the commencement of Phase 2 of the Walewale Township Roads Expansion Project. Areas affected by the exercise include Foni, Nayilifong, Kukwazugu, and Mosifong, where dozens of houses and other structures, including stores, have been demolished, causing a mass displacement of the residents there. At Mosifong, where the exercise was underway, residents looked on helplessly as their buildings were being razed down. Already, the residents were still battling with the destruction of their properties by a severe rainstorm that swept through the town a few weeks ago. Speaking to JoyNews, the victims recounted their losses and called for the assistance of the government. Those 3 houses being destroyed over there are mine, 13 rooms, all gone. We have been rendered homeless and displaced by that. My major concern, however, is that this is happening during the rainy season. We are happy that they want to construct the road, but they also have to come to our aid to accommodate us.
Destroying us. We don't know where we are sleeping. We just need a help for them to find a place and sleep. That is our problem. We are appealing for them.
We are pleading for assistance because my children and I are homeless now. I do not know where to accommodate my kids. We haven't been given any compensation. This woman is pointing at her 2-bedroom house which was being pulled down. She is now displaced alongside her 6 children. I built this house 2 years ago with all my resources. Now that it has been destroyed, I have nowhere to go, and my children too. Tell the government to come to our aid. The exercise also affected a popular Arabic school in the area. This little girl could not hold it as she watched her school being damaged by heavy machinery. Amadou Azara also claimed to have lost a bedroom and her metal-made store. She said they were hardly given enough notice of the exercise and criticized the Assembly's decision not to pay compensations for the destruction of their properties. They didn't give us any notice. We woke up 3 days ago to see this happening here. I haven't slept for 3 days today and haven't been able to do my business because my store has been damaged. Please, kindly have mercy on us and come to our aid. The exercise, according to the Municipal Assembly, is part of the Assembly's goal to position Walewale as the central business hub of the Northeast region. Speaking to Joy News, the Municipal Chief Executive Arimia Osomolaki refuted the residents' claims, insisting that only illegal structures were affected.
This particular project does not have compensation. The second thing is that we don't also deliberately want to destroy properties that are legally footed. If you see that a property is taken off, it means that either the property is illegally kept there or it's legally, the person deliberately put the structure on the road. But all the structures that have been demolished, I can say without any contradiction, none of them even have a permit. They never even came to the Assembly to request for that.
The MC said despite the concerns of the residents, the exercise had been successfully and thanked the people of Walewale for the warm cooperation.
But I want to thank the good people of Walewale. The support that they have given me as Chief Executive for this exercise, I can't thank them enough. They have been very cooperative. And let me tell you, my biological uncle house even got affected. So in that scenario, I have to praise the good people of Walewale because they want to take the development into their own hands. Those few ones who still feel they are not satisfied should come to my office. Then we'll sit down, we'll look at it and go. But this particular exercise, there's no retreat and I will not surrender.
From Walewale, Ilyasu Tanko reporting for Joy News.
And here in Accra, this is still the Joy News desk here on Joy News channel. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll bring you the latest in business. Stay with us.
It's time now for business. I am Beverly Broom. Government has been urged to implement policies directed at encouraging and supporting family businesses in Ghana. According to Managing Consultant of Family Office Africa, Dr. Theodora Albright, to grow these companies and act as an anchor for economic growth and an enabling environment is required. Speaking to Joy Business at the Africa Business Summit, he warned that Ghana's economy will collapse in the absence of effective legislation to promote such endeavors.
The aim of the Africa Family Business Summit was to bring together family business practitioners and help them to build a network that will allow them to share information and insight among themselves. Dr. Albright stressed on the need to invest in family business, indicating that the economy should be diversified to boost economic growth.
All over the world, it is private sector, the private sector, which undergirds and supports the economies of countries. Leave aside perhaps managed economies like China and perhaps Cuba. Most economies depend on the private sector to shore up the economy. It is the engine of growth for any economy that wants to succeed. And therefore, government policies should be made to support and encourage family businesses and business families, because that drives all economies across the world, whether it is the United Kingdom or the United States or indeed Germany.
Business psychologist Dr. Russell Takri, speaking on resilience, explained that business owners would have to cope with extreme stress-provoking events without experiencing any personal stress signs or symptoms.
Well, there's a few things to talk about. The first is that many family business owners don't look after themselves well enough. They don't look after their health, their well-being. They don't build capacity into their businesses. They don't have enough people in their networks, like mentors and coaches, who can actually show them the way, give them guidance. So when they hit a problem, they hit a rock wall instead of just hitting someone who can actually help them because they've been there before. So too many business owners are on the edge of what we call burnout. They're tired, they're juggling too many balls, they're losing the passion for their business almost. And what they have to do is they have to be able to learn new tricks, new tips, manage their mind, manage their well-being, because that will allow them to move their businesses forward. But most importantly, not just perform better, but enjoy it more as well.
This is the first edition of the Africa Family Business Summit.
Away from that, we move to the Ashanti region, where the Electricity Company of Ghana has restored power to the Kejetia market after confirming receipt of 20% of debts owed them by the commercial hub in Kumasi. Traders endured without electricity after power was disconnected due to a debt in excess of 5 million cedis. As part of reconnection negotiations, the ECG demanded payment of 20% of the market's indebtedness, followed by a roadmap for the servicing of the arrears. Public Relations Manager for ECG, Grace Gashon, earlier explained that power will be restored by close of today after some payment had been made. Nanaya Ojima has more in the following report.
The Kejetia market has over 8,000 stores and other spaces for trade. Per the architecture, the market depends heavily on electricity to keep it illuminated. Since the disconnection, the market has been dark and quiet as traders depend heavily on rechargeable lamps and torchlights. Business has been heavily affected. Kofi Dufour is general manager for the Kejetia market.
Business has virtually gone down by about 75%. I mean, nobody is even operating at half, so at 50% level. No, none. I don't think anybody here, because the basic ingredient we need at Kejetia to do good business is lights. If you take it out, you've already halved the productivity of the market. So it's affecting us seriously, drastically it's affecting us.
Over 1 million cedis has been paid to the utility company, though a meeting on payment schedule for the remaining 80% of the amount is yet to be held. ECG says it is committed to restoring power. Grace Gashon speaks for the company.
So yesterday they came back again and then they brought a check for the first payment of the 20%. So hopefully by close of work today, we'll reconnect them.
With regards to the check that they brought, have you been able to go through it? Is it the exact amount that you wanted?
Oh, sure, it's the exact amount. That's the 20% of the amounts that they are owing. We came yesterday, we were looking forward to another meeting so that we all agree on a payments plan. So I'm sure by tomorrow, I can't be very specific, but they'll come back for another meeting so that we draw the payments. It's some years back, we had a discussion with them about these meters, the separate meters, so that each shop will have its own meter. And so the management of the market, per our advice, we gave them technical advice on how to go about it. They went far with it, but it's like at a point they stopped. There was a halt somewhere. Why there was a halt, we cannot see.
Meanwhile, the company has strengthened efforts to retrieve debts owed by consumers.
In fact, we have a task force. It's a national task force. And so they are going around, apart from what we are doing in the regions, they are also going around and disconnected all these people that you mentioned who are owing us. So if you are in that category, you will be disconnected if you have not been disconnected. Very soon, get ready, go and pay. The appropriate thing is for you to pay what you are owing us so that will not disconnect you.
For JoyNews, Nanaya Ojima, Kumasi.
That's all for Business Now. Up next is sports.
So it's now time for us to bring you sports here on the Joy News desk. And Lawrence is already in the house. Hi, Lawrence. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good.
What's on the table?
So the season ended some 2-3 weeks ago, and then we should be looking forward to a new season. But then just like the Ghana Premier League of old, the league has been hit with some match-fixing allegations, with the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of Ash Gold alleging that 50% of the matches that were played on the final day of this season were fixed. Well, in the latest developments, we hear that the Ghana Football Association has invited him to assist in investigations into the matter. From what he has said, he says the match between Hearts of Oak and then RTU was fixed. The game between Ediana and 11 Wonders was also fixed. Ashgood's game against Bibini Gold Stars was fixed.
And he's the deputy chief for Ashgood.
One thing that's a bit worrying is that Ashgood have been demoted, and they were demoted for the same reason as
he's alleging.
So it's quite worrying to hear such comments from him. Ashgood have come out to say that Albert Kome, they've not said it's not true. All they said is that Albert Kome has been ill for some time now, since April, and then he's been off official duties, so he doesn't have the capacity to speak in terms of any official communication as such. So they've distanced themselves from the statement made by Albert Kome. As I've mentioned already, the Ghana Football Association are looking to find out what's truth in what Albert Kome is saying, because at this point we are looking at getting a headline sponsor for the GPL. So for some of these issues to come up, it will only do more damage to what is already sports. Because I believe the GPL is struggling, and if you have more of these cases coming up, it just puts the league into disrepute.
And the name of the game is evidence.
Yes.
All right, so let's see how this, turns out. And that's how we wrap up today's edition of the JoyNews Desk. With me, Samuel Kojo Brace. But there's more news on myjoyonline.com. Please do enjoy the rest of our shows. Good morning.